Hello everyone, Darko 2012 here with Global Government News, and I'm reading an article titled Haiti and Unwelcome Katrina Redux, and it was written by Cynthia McKinney of Global Research, and it was posted and published on January 20th, 2010. It is a somewhat lengthy article, but I'm there. I don't have time to read it all, and I'm not gonna break it into two parts, but I will post the link, and I'll just kind of give you a highlight here. Read a couple paragraphs that I think are really relevant to this issue because I've posted numerous videos so far covering the Haiti tragedy, and this is from someone who's kind of well known, and this is her perspective on it, and it kind of matches what I've been saying as far as what I've seen and how I see this whole situation being played out and the what is and kind of what is really going on down there. Although I'm not down there on the ground, so it's really hard to know 100% for sure. I'm going off all the reports that I'm reading and videos I'm seeing. So here we go. President Obama's response to the tragedy in Haiti has been robust in military deployment and puny in what the Haitians need most: food, first responders and their specialized equipment, doctors and medical facilities and equipment, and engineers and heavy equipment and heavy movers. Sadly, President Obama is dispatching President Bush and Clinton and thousands of Marines and U.S. soldiers. By contrast, Cuba has over 400 doctors on the ground and is sending in more Cubans, Argentinians, Icelanders, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, and many others are already on the ground, working, saving lives, and treating the injured. Senegal has offered land to Haitians willing to relocate to Africa. The United States, on the day after the tragedy struck, confirmed that an entire Marine Expeditionary Force was being considered to, quote, help restore order, when the disorder had been caused by an earthquake striking Haiti not since 1751, 1770, 1842, 1860, and 1887 had Haiti experienced an earthquake. But I remember the bogus report of chaos and violence that led to the deployment of the military assets, including Blackwater and New Orleans, in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. And yeah, that's where they were going house to house, especially to these rich, wealthy people who were armed, trying to protect their property, and they disarmed them. They disarmed the wealthy people who were trying to protect their property, and they forced them to give over their guns, and they never received them back, even after they tried to get them through Supreme Court order. So it was about going in there and disarming the citizens during all of this. And also, people were trying to get out of the city, trying to get out of that dome, where the Saints play, and they wouldn't let them. You'd be arrested, and even people that were trying to cross a bridge couldn't cross to get out, and they had army blocking the bridges and all that. So FEMA cutting power lines, and it says here, one Katrina survivor noted that the people needed food and shelter, and the U.S. government sent men with guns. Much to my disquiet, it seems here we go again. From the very beginning, U.S. assistance to Haiti has looked to me more like an invasion than a humanitarian relief operation. On day 2 of the tragedy, a C-130 plane with a military assessment team landed in Haiti, with the rest of the team expected to land soon thereafter. The stated purpose of this team was to determine what military resources were needed. An Air Force Special Operations team was also expected to land to provide air traffic control. Now the reports are that the U.S. is not allowing assistance in. Shades of Hurricane Katrina all over again. She's referring to the doctors that were told to leave on 2 separate occasions, where the UN was telling doctors to leave, and Doctors Without Borders were not allowed to land in the area by the orders of the UN and the people of the U.S. On President Obama's orders, military aircraft, quote, flew over the island, mapping the destruction. So the first U.S. contribution to the humanitarian relief needed in Haiti were reconnaissance drones, whose staffing are more accustomed to looking for hidden weapon sites and surface-to-air missile batteries than wrecked infrastructure. The scope of the U.S. response soon became clear. Aircraft carrier, Marine, I think she misspelled that, Marine transport ship, 4 C-140 airlifts or C-130s, and evacuations to Guantanamo. By the end of the day, according to the Washington Post report, the United States had evacuated to Guantanamo Bay about 8 severely injured patients, in addition to U.S. Embassy staffers who had been designated as priorities by the U.S. ambassador and his staff. And then on day 3, we learned that the other U.S. ships, including destroyers, were moved towards Haiti. Interesting. Yeah, and I remember they said that the destroyers were carrying thousands of gallons of fresh water. And then I read an article the next day, like 2 days later, 3 days later, where it was saying, oh, they have a shortage of water and there's a plight. And then of course you had Bush, who made a statement saying, oh, don't send bottles of water or blankets, don't send that down here, just give us your cash. And it says here, on day 3, they learned that the U.S. ships, including destroyers, the Post reported that here we go. The Washington Post reported that the standing task force that coordinates the U.S. response to mass migration events from Cuba or Haiti was monitoring events, but had not yet ramped up its operations. That tidbit was interesting in and of itself, that those two countries are attended to by a standing task force, but the treatment of their nationals is vastly different, with Cubans being awarded immediate acceptance from the U.S. government and led by contrast, internment for Haitian nationals. U.S. Coast Guard Rear Admiral James Watson reassured Americans, quote, our focus right now is to prevent that, and we are going to work with the Department of Defense, the State Department, FEMA, and all agencies of the federal government to minimize the risk of Haitians who want to flee their country, Watson said. And he also was quoted as saying, we want to provide them those relief supplies so they can live in Haiti. And the first thing that Bill Clinton, the U.S. envoy to Haiti, representative, the first thing that he did was give the Haitians temporary protective status, which allows them to have work visas, and they start to get all the benefits of federal benefits and that, and temporary status as a citizen. All the Haitians that were already living in the United States, and Clinton tried that during their last big hurricane in Haiti, and it didn't go through. And so this time, as soon as the earthquake hit, it was almost for certainty that no one would argue with that, and so he was able to pass it. So all the Haitians in the United States get those temporary status. I believe that's what she's referring to. And of course, what is that going to do? I mean, it's hell on earth in Haiti, so I mean, who the hell would, why would you want to stay there? Of course, they're going to be trying to flee to Florida. And the way, yeah, they're saying, oh, we're not going to accept them and we're going to turn them back and don't try it. I don't know. Let's see what happens, but I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to be waiting there with open arms. I mean, just based off how the U.S. treats illegals already, where they let them drive without a license, without insurance, and let them drive drunk, and then they just let them go. But if you're a tax-paying American and you have a license and you have insurance, and you had 2 beers, they treat you like, they tow your car, they impound your car, they slap $3,000 fine on you, take your license away. So, I mean, that's what it's all about. So, and lastly here, it says by the end of the day 4, U.S. reportedly evacuated over 800 U.S. nationals. It says for those who've been following the events prior to the earthquake, number 1, the continued exile of Haiti's democratically elected and well-loved, yet twice removed, former priest, President Jean-Bertrand Aristide. Number 2, the unexplained continued occupation of the country by the UN troops who have killed innocent Haitians and are hardly there for, quote, security. I've personally seen them on the roads that only lead to Haiti's sparsely populated areas teeming with beautiful beaches. Number 3, the U.S. construction of its 5th largest embassy in the world in Port-au-Prince. That's right. Yeah, that's symbolic that the U.S. troops have taken over the actual symbol of sovereignty for Haitians. They've taken over the embassy, and they've taken over and that's kind of the first half of the story. The other half, you can check out the link I'm going to post above and kind of check it out for yourself. But I just thought I'd give this a post. Thanks for checking this out, everybody, and leave your comments.